आप सब लोगों को नमस्कार। श्री BL शंकर जी, फॉर्मर चेयर ऑफ द विधानसभा एंड मीडिया चेयरमैन KPCC, श्रीमती पुष्पा अमरनाथ जी, महिला कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट कर्नाटका, ऐश्वर्या महादेव जी, रामचंद्र जी, ब्रजेश कलप्पा जी और सलीम जी, आप सब लोगों को मेरा नमस्कार। I would first want to talk about the issue on hand, and I would want to jog your memories to 2014. There was a very famous line. It says, "बहुत हुई महंगाई की मार," but that line has changed now. The line now is, "बहुत हुई महंगाई की मार, बस करो मोदी सरकार." अब बस करो मोदी सरकार. And why are we saying this? Because prices of essential commodities, prices of petrol, diesel, LPG, edible oil, many things have gone up substantially. A high price rise hurts the common man at any time. But it is specially immoral and unjust of the central government to raise prices during a raging pandemic. And also at a time when the economy is in ruin because of their own economic mismanagement. Crores of people have lost their jobs, wages have been down, businesses have been shut. But this insensitive government doesn't care. They do not want to look at the plight of the people or resolve it. I want to give you some statistics of where we were and where are we now. 23 crore people in this country, 23 crore people in this country in the last 1 year alone have slipped below the poverty line. I want to remind you that 27 crore people were pulled up the poverty line by the UPA government between 2004 to 14. All of that good work has almost been undone because 23 crore people have slipped below the poverty line. 2 crore people have lost their jobs in the month of April and May alone. 97% Indians, and almost all of us sitting here will make a substantial number of that. 97% Indians are poorer than they were 3 years ago. So we've gone back to levels that were 3 years ago. So 97% are poorer than 3 years ago. And most of you will know what Provident Fund is. Provident Fund is usually money that people keep for their retirement. You know, it's either for the education of the children, to buy a house, marriage. It's money that's kept as a retirement benefit. 1.25 lakh crore of that money has been withdrawn. So by these figures, 23 crore people slip below the poverty line, 2 crore jobs lost, 97% Indians poorer than before, 1.25 lakh crore Provident Fund money withdrawn. I'm just trying to tell you how miserable is the condition of our people. And at a time like this, to further burden them with high prices, जिसको कमर तोड़ महंगाई कहते हैं, कि आपकी कमर वैसे ही झुकी हुई है स्लो डाउन से, इकोनॉमिक स्लो डाउन से, और अब आपकी कमर महंगाई से भी तोड़ी जाएगी. At a time like this, when GDP growth is shrinking, when jobs are vanishing, when wages are less, high inflation is absolutely criminal. And like I said, it is not just petrol, diesel, LPG. It is edible oil, it is tea leaves, it is soap, it is shampoo, every basic necessity, baby food, everything is more expensive today than it ever has been. I want to, and we are sharing this with you, so you will see the table. The latest reading of inflation is very alarming. The RBI's comfort zone is 4% minus plus 2%. So 2 to 6% is the RBI's comfort zone. The latest inflation reading is at nearly 6.3%, which is well above the RBI's comfort zone. Urban CPI has risen from 5.9% in May to 6.3% in June. Core inflation, which is minus food and minus fuel inflation, has moved up from 5.5 to 5.8% in a month's time. Food inflation is at 5.5%. Fruits, 11.8% inflation. Transport inflation, 11.5%. Fuel, of course, and light inflation at 12.6%. Edible oils, you know, coconut oil, sarson ka tel, all that was used to cook food, has seen inflation levels of 34.7%. So the question is, what should people eat? How should they consume electricity in their house? How should they travel in their cars or buses or railway? Because all the prices have gone up. is this because global crude oil prices are up, and which is where we want to consistently raise this point. And I want to draw your attention. It is not because crude oil prices are high. In fact, this government wants to exploit the people. It wants to profiteer. It is greedy. And if you see the numbers that we've shared with you, it will tell you that this inflation is not because you have more money in your hands. Actually, quite the contrary, you have less money in your hands. It's not because demand is more. You know, supply kam hai, demand bahut zyada, inflation hai. No. Demand is low. Private consumption has contracted by 10% in the last financial year. Demand is low. Money is in the hands of people is much lower. It is because of the policies of the Modi government. Over the last 7 years, this is a number that you need to remember. Over the last 7 years, the government has hiked excise duty on fuel 13 times. 13 times fuel excise has been hiked, and the government has made nearly 22 to 23 lakh crore rupees. And imagine, when crude oil prices globally went down to $19 a barrel, you did not get the benefit. The government kept making profits by hiking excise duty. So when prices go up, you have to pay more. When prices go down, then also you have to pay more. At some level, this is breach of trust. The whole idea of deregulation of petrol and diesel was, when global crude oil prices go down, you pay less. When they go up, you share the burden. You share the burden when prices go up, but when prices go down, which they did during the pandemic, crude oil was at $19 a barrel, you did not get the benefit. The government actually went and raised excise duty. Why do we say fuel is on fire? How much is petrol being sold for? In some parts of the country, it is being sold at 109 rupees a litre. Diesel is being sold at 95, 96 rupees a litre. LPG, cooking gas, which was sold at 414 when we were in power, is today at 834. That's the kind of price rise one has seen. And let me tell you a small figure. When we were in power and crude oil prices were at $125 a barrel, petrol was at 65 and diesel was at 44. When crude oil prices are today at 75, petrol is at 109 and diesel is at 95. 125 crude oil regime, you were paying half the prices. And why is this happening? When you speak to BJP, when you debate with them, when you speak to their ministers, when you speak to their spokespersons, they will turn around and tell you the states must do something. Actually, that is absolutely wrong. The states cannot do anything. You know why? Because all the taxes that are being collected on petrol, diesel, fuel are actually being kept by the central government itself. Almost next to nothing is being shared with the states. The total cess, and all of you know that cess is a collection that only the central government keeps with itself. It doesn't share with any state. The cess on petrol is today at 33 rupees a litre. 33 rupees only the central government is keeping. This is up 249% since 2014. The cess on diesel, again the money that is not being shared with the state governments, is at 32 rupees a litre, up 796% in the last 7 years. So by doing this, by increasing the percentage of cess, by increasing the excise duty which the government keeps only for itself, the government in the last financial year made a profit of 3.89 lakh crore rupees. 3.89 lakh crore rupees. And for the first time in the history of independent India, fuel taxes, collection from fuel taxes was higher than collection from corporate taxes, was higher than collection from income tax. So imagine the huge chunk was coming from income tax and corporate tax. Now the collection from fuel tax, which is money coming from your pockets, where you could be paying a lot less if the cess is brought down, is a lot higher today. I will give you a small example of LPG. I found it unbelievable, and so I'll share this number with you. It is being sold at 834 per cylinder in Delhi. The farther away you're from Delhi, the higher the prices. So in parts of Northeast, in parts of Eastern UP, the cylinder is as expensive as 1,000, sometimes even more. At 834 rupees per cylinder, the actual cost of the cylinder is actually 544. Because if you see the exchange rate, And if you see the per metric ton rate of Saudi Aramco, in the last 6 hikes, prices have gone up by 240 rupees. 240 rupees hike on every cylinder of LPG sold. And which is why LPG in Delhi is 834. I'm presuming it's close to 900 here in the city of Bangalore. Because the further away you from production, the higher the prices. And like I said, it's not just petrol, it's not just diesel, it's not just LPG. Edible oil prices, you know, refined oil, sarson ka tel, those kind of things, have gone up by almost 42% in the last 3 months. Shampoo, soap is expensive, washing powder is expensive, tea leaves are expensive, noodles, baby food, everything is more expensive than it was about 3 months back. I'll give you a small example. Mustard oil is produced from mustard. The farmer produces mustard, the farmer produces wheat, the farmer produces rice. To buy 1 liter of mustard oil today, the farmer has to sell 14 kgs of wheat. That's the price differential. To buy 1 liter of mustard oil, the farmer today has to sell 14 kgs of wheat. And to buy a month's supply of mustard oil, the farmer has to sell 1 quintal of wheat. That is the differential. It's a small example, but it tells you the plight of the farmer. The farmers that according to this government are terrorists. Imagine, to buy 1 liter of mustard oil, they are having to sell 14 kgs of wheat, and to buy a month's supply of mustard oil for their expenses, they have to sell 1 quintal of wheat. Why is it so? Apart from the cess, apart from the taxes that the central government is levying, high import duty. Import duty is very high for things like palm oil, for pulses, for household items, which is why the final product is very higher. Why is pulses higher? Why is tur dal today much higher? Because the import duty is a lot higher, and this government doesn't believe that when inflation is so high, when people are earning a lot less, they need to cut import duties. So high cess, high taxes, high import duties. The other reason why prices and why inflation is very high is because of irrational GST rates, multiple rates. I mean, the highest GST rate is 28%. And most of the things that we use in everyday consumption are anything between 12 to 18%. Home appliances, processed food, sabun, tel, toothpaste, all of this is attracting a GST rate of 12 to 18%, which is absolutely high taxation. And this is something that the common man uses. So a small anecdote that I want to share with you, when you talk to them, they say, but you know, we're paying taxes. You could be paying taxes. Each one of us in this room, including the farmer, pays taxes. Because GST, the richest Indian in the country is paying the same GST as the man who's pulling and doing manual labor. That's why it's a regressive tax. That's why GST rates need to come down. But because GST rates for essential items are between 12 to 18%, imagine the high prices that we are having to pay through. The one thing that they commonly mislead people and, you know, their WhatsApp and Facebook university works overtime is, they say, but the Congress burdened us with oil bonds. It's a complete myth. It's a complete lie. The government has collected nearly 23 lakh crore in excise duty collection over the last 7 years. It has spent only 3.5% in those oil bond payments. So what nonsense do you talk about? The reality is that in this year, only 10,000 crore worth of oil bond payments have to go. The reality is that you knew you will not pay LPG cylinders. How many of you get LPG subsidy? The LPG subsidy has been reduced to 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 10 rupees. Why? Because, and in some parts of the country, there is no LPG subsidy. Because the market price and control price is the same. What is subsidy? The difference between controlled and market price. When those two prices are the same, there is no LPG, and this government knew they will do this. Because the fuel subsidy bill in 2014, when we demitted office, was 1.42 lakh crore rupees. You know what is it in this budget? It's under 12,000 crore rupees. So compare 1.42 lakh crore rupees to under 12,000 crore rupees. Because this government knew they will not pay subsidies. This government knew they will make you pay through their noses for fuel, for edible oil, for LPG, for everything. But the reality is that amidst all of this, what pains us as a party, what pains us in public life is that they have no idea how to run the economy. Indian economy is run by consumption. How much you buy, How much are you willing? What is the demand? 60% of our GDP is consumption driven. Today, when people have lost their jobs, today when people have taken wage cuts, and many of you are salaried, I'm sure there were wage cuts in most organizations, at least the ones that I know of. If your wages have gone down, you will spend less. The only way you can spend more is if you're financially incentivized, if money is put in your hands. That's the way you can put. If you're going to consume more, companies will make those products more. If those companies make products more, they will have to invest more. If they invest more, they will have to create more jobs. It's a virtuous cycle. More consumption, more investment, more jobs, more money in the hands of people. But this government doesn't want to do that. On the contrary, at a time of a raging pandemic, when you have to pay for your medical expenses, medicines, hospitalization, vaccination, this government will actually turn around and make you pay even more for basic amenities. We demand that the high taxes on fuel be immediately brought down substantially. We also demand that import duties on many intermediary goods, including palm oil, including pulses, including other household items, is brought down and reviewed. We also demand that the GST Council immediately sits down and rationalizes the high GST slabs for many, many of these issues. The Parliament session is going to start on the 17th. We will be raising high prices. We will be raising the issue of inflation in Parliament. We will ask for an entire debate on this. We want the government to produce a white paper on high prices, and those demands will continue to be. We have fought at petrol pumps. We have protested all across the country. We do hope that the media will show the plight of the people, because you belong to the section, you are the fourth pillar of democracy. And the price rise under which India is reeling today is unprecedented. Prices hurt the common man, but they hurt the common man even more when the GDP growth is low, when wages have been cut, when jobs have been lost, when businesses have been shut. I only want to end by saying that one line. If you remember, there was a Peoply Live movie, and at least when we were in power, the BJP could keep playing that song. It says, महंगाई डायन खाए जाते हैं. महंगाई अभी भी खा रही है, अभी भी वो डायन से, लेकिन इनके लिए डार्लिंग बन गई है. महंगाई अब डायन बिल्कुल नहीं है बीजेपी के लिए. भाजपा के लोगों को, प्रधानमंत्री महोदय को लगता है कि वो प्रधानमंत्री आवास में बैठकर करोड़ों रुपए अपने ऊपर खर्चा करते हैं. 8,000 करोड़ का हवाई जहाज खरीदते हैं, 20,000 करोड़ रुपए का सेंट्रल विस्ता बनाते हैं. शायद उनको लोगों की गरीबी, उनका दिक्कत, उनकी मजबूरी नहीं दिख रही है. लेकिन अगर वो अपने राज सिंहासन छोड़ के बाहर निकलेंगे, he will see people are very worried, people are really reeling under the burden of high prices, and they need some respite. I'll take questions first on suo moto, please. I will first take questions on this. If there are any questions on inflation, then I'll come to population control.
But you said you will take up this issue in the parliament, your people and MPs. What type of agitation you want to do in the parliament?
Sorry, sir?
What type of agitation it will be?
We-
Your anger?
No, I think more than anger, the plight of the people is unmissable. I think one needs to pay attention to how worried and how miserable the lives of people have been. So I don't think anger is the right word. As far as Parliament is concerned, we will take it up in Parliament before the government. We will demand an entire discussion, and we hope that the government will produce a white paper on the economy, including inflation.
So you will stall the proceedings?
Sir, I said we will demand a discussion on this. I never said we will stall proceedings. I think there are ways to bring the government to agree to things. I think the elected government of the day should be conscious of what the people are going through, and only then those matters can be taken up in Parliament. Disruption, according to the late Arun Jaitley ji, is a method in a democracy to attract attention. That's not what we want to do, but if the government chooses to be mute and deaf to the plight of the people, we will leave no stone unturned to raise this issue in Parliament. Any other question on this? Your question on population. There is a lot that is being written and said about population. I think the lot that has not been written also needs to be pointed out. India's total fertility rate, which is number of children being produced by a couple, has consistently gone down. It used to be 5.6 in the 1950s, so a woman was producing almost 5.6 children. It has considerably gone down across states, and it's actually down to 2.1. So a couple, on an average, is producing 2.1 children, which is almost the same as replacement level. Now, what is replacement level? If two people die in one generation, there are 2.1 to replace them. So in an ideal situation, the number of people dying should be replaced by the number of people coming in, and then that finds a balance. In our country, there are some states where the total fertility rate is as low as 1, and there are innumerable states. There are some where it is up, but not astronomically up. Even for Bihar, it is just 3. In Uttar Pradesh, it is 2.7. This is a ploy to once again divide the people. This is the ploy to once again distract from major issues. What are the major issues of the day? The major issues of the day are price rise. The major issues of the day are joblessness. The major issues of the day are high poverty. The major issues of the day are 23 crore people slipping below the poverty line. Instead of addressing those issues, it is your duty to create jobs. It is your duty to ensure people are prosperous. It is your duty to ensure that people don't slip below the poverty line. It is your duty to ensure that every Indian is well provided for, does not go to bed hungry. Instead of doing that, you want to bring up another issue to distract. And that is the only ploy. The reality is that in 80 years, India's population will be down to 100 crores. From the 140 crores we are today. By 2100, we will be down to 100 crores, naturally. So our population will rise for 10, 12 years and then we will go down. I want to say our population was our dividend. It was our biggest bet. Why do you think these multinationals, why do you think these big companies came to India to invest? Because we gave them the market that they wanted. Our population was our biggest dividend, which is what it was called, the demographic dividend. Because of the mismanagement of the economy, mismanagement of the policies, because of the divisive nature of this government, they are turning the demographic dividend into demographic disaster. Instead of creating jobs for the world's youngest nation, you are actually telling people that don't do jobs, instead stop producing children. Our population will go down on its own 200 crores. 40, 45 crore people will be wiped out. Because our total fertility rate is going down, because people are producing less. Also, scientific data tells you, if people are more educated and if there is less poverty, the population gets under control. Most educated couples have lesser children. This is scientific data. Educate people, make them less poor, create more jobs. And a lot of people ask this question, why do people have so many children? Because you have no social security, you have no job, you feel, if I have 6 children, at least one will take care of me. But when we are educated and when you have a job, you believe I have to provide for these children, they should become respectable adults, they should find jobs, they should be respectable in the society, you will produce lesser children. This scientific data across the world has proven this. Instead of doing that, this is just a diversionary tactic, and I will mince no words in saying this is not just diversionary, this is also divisive, because it's trying to attack, it's trying to pinpoint on a certain community. The reality is that children being produced in either of the two communities are being done in the same ratio. Again, data that's produced by the government of India has proven this. This is not data that's coming from me. Sure.
You are raising your voice against price hike.
Jay.
It's okay. Then what is your next step?
I think it is important that comrades like you and the media starts talking about high prices. I come from media. Till about 3 years back, I was a television editor and anchor. I have done innumerable shows on price rise. How many shows? And I now go regularly on TV debates every evening. I read at least 6 newspapers a day. I don't see price rise being an issue. And I'm not blaming you. All I'm saying is, it is a very big issue. You will have to be the voice of the people. You will have to champion it. You will have to start showing what the opposition is doing. We have done protests across petrol pumps. I will just share a small, this is the Karnataka Congress, Mahila Congress, I think. They have put out this in public places. This gives you a comparison of prices during our regime and this regime. I mean, this is the word, this is the voice of the people. You will have to start carrying it to the people. I don't think that is being done enough. This government, when you ask them on onion prices, the finance minister turns and says, मैं लहसुन प्याज नहीं खाती हूँ, तो बाकी लोग तो खाते हैं इस देश में. You ask them on petrol, they said Uber से चलिए. You ask them on jobs, they said पकौड़े तलिए. I think the government of the day needs to be accountable. I said we are trying to spread the word and we need help of people like you. We need the media to be more vigilant. And I must compliment, people on the ground are far more vigilant than people who decide the policies sitting in studios. So I think the media needs to be more vigilant. You need to hold the government of the day accountable because prices can be brought down. It is not as if crude is at 150. Why are we paying 109 for our petrol? And like we said, we will raise it in parliament. We will continue to hit the street with it. I just hope that you will show us a lot more than you are right now. I think somebody here had a question. Sure.
कि अभी मोदी सरकार है ना, जो महंगाई बढ़ा के है, जो दाल, चीनी, पेट्रोल, डीजल, सरसों का तेल, बोले सब चीज बढ़ा के, ऐसा है ना फैमिली में 2 बच्चे ही करना, तीसरा बच्चा करे तो गवर्नमेंट के काम नहीं करके ऑर्डर करके है ना, इसके बारे में आप क्या बोलते हैं?
नहीं, अभी मोदी सरकार की ओर से ऑर्डर नहीं आया, तो पहले तो मैं वो क्लैरिफाई करना चाहूँगी. और मैंने इस बात का जवाब दिया है कि साइंटिफिक डेटा प्रूव करता है कि हमारी पॉपुलेशन ऑलरेडी 10-12 साल बढ़ेगी और उसके बाद वो ऑलरेडी 40-45 करोड़ लोग खत्म हो जाएंगे. उसमें से 2100 तक हमारी पॉपुलेशन 100 करोड़ हो जाएगी. टोटल फर्टिलिटी रेट और रिप्लेसमेंट लेवल, कितने लोग एक जनरेशन से मृत्यु हो रही है और कितने नए जन्म हो रहा है, वो एक बराबर होता जा रहा है. टोटल फर्टिलिटी रेट सिर्फ 2.1 है. हिंदुस्तान की बहुत सारे शहर, बहुत सारे प्रांत ऐसे हैं, बहुत सारे स्टेट्स ऐसे हैं जहाँ पर वो लेवल 1 से भी नीचे चला गया है. सिक्किम वगैरह में 1 है लेवल, तो हर परिवार एक बच्चा पैदा कर रहा है. तो ये सिर्फ डाइवर्जनरी टैक्टिक है. आप अगर साइंटिफिक डेटा देखिए, जहाँ पर गरीबी कम होगी, जहाँ पर शिक्षा ज़्यादा होगी, वहाँ बच्चे कम अपने आप प्रोड्यूस होंगे. आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि आप नौकरियाँ बनाइए, आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है आप गरीबी कम करिए. उसको कम करने के बजाय आप सिर्फ मुद्दा भटकाने के लिए फिर से ये बातें कर रहे हैं. इस बात का कोई भी ना सच से ताल्लुक है और ना गवर्नेंस से ताल्लुक है. डन. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್.
ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿಧ್ವನಿ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಬೆಲ್ ಐಕಾನ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ.